Hello everyone and welcome back to the Tales of Berseria Redux playthrough for what should be, fingers crossed, the final part, the final episode of the Tales of Berseria playthrough. I am excited to wrap it up. I've done a lot of stuff off screen to get ready for this. As you can see, I got everyone to at least level 100. Eisen just barely made it, but he did get there. So I'm hoping we're on hard difficulty. That should be level 150. For the final cameo fight, and I think we're going to be good enough to handle it. I did run into it really quickly and then just reload my save, and it seemed like I was doing fine. I didn't go through the whole fight to make sure I could do it, but I wasn't immediately dying and losing instantly, so I think we're going to be good. Plus, I'm going to be able to use items, because I don't care about how much grade I get. This is going to be the last fight. That's what I'm trying to think of. It's going to be the last fight of the playthrough, so it doesn't really matter if we just tear through every item we have. I have so many soul bottles, arcane bottles, an all divide if we need it, 9 all divides if we need them, 11 elixirs, so we should be good, fingers crossed. I wanted to get this to level 10 and I only got it to level 9, but anyways, I was going to say, you know, we're all good to go on our stuff and whatnot. I wanted to get that to level 10, but I think it needed like 2 million gold. Let me show you just how ridiculous it is to try and enhance these things to level 10, which you have to get one thing at least to level 10 to get the platinum trophy. Yeah, it needs about 2 million gold. Although, actually, now that I think about it, what if I just, like, you know, this is the end of the playthrough? Like I said, we're about to go do the last fight, and then, like, I'll probably never use the save file ever again. If I'm gonna do anything with a save file, I'd use my save file that I got the platinum with, where I NG plussed and all. So what if I actually just, like, sell everything? Not that Animalia ring, though. I worked really hard on that. But what if I just sell all of my stuff? What do I need? I need, like, 800,000 gold here. We're already at 200,000. It might be a little tight, but, like, you know, this is the last fight, so I don't really mind if I have any of this stuff left over or not. So if selling it all could get us a level 10 weapon at the very end of the playthrough, I'm actually super down with that. And so I'm going to try and make it happen here, and I think we're going to get away with it. It's actually kind of scary how close it's going to be. I've mentioned it throughout the playthrough, but I do really love the way enhancing and dismantling and whatnot is in this game. But it is very unfortunate that it's just way too expensive and annoying to do in a single playthrough. I'm pretty sure the more I've thought about it since finishing almost all of this playthrough, because I've been playing Arise for the past little while, and I haven't touched Berseria in a couple of weeks? 2 weeks, I want to say. But I'm pretty sure that the equipment system is made under the assumption that you mostly make use of it in... I don't mind losing that. You have the better bag, right? Yeah. I think it's made with the idea in mind that it's mostly a post-game thing. You're not really supposed to get a whole lot out of it in the first playthrough. And I don't like that, personally. I'd like it better if it was toned down a bit in how much the requirements are, and it was more doable. I think that's enough without even selling my weapons. Let's go. I wish it was more doable in a single playthrough, but it feels like it's made for NG+, specifically, not even post-game. Here we go. Mithril Blade level 10. I think it gets, like, a new name. Enhancement bonus. Adds water element hit to the... Yeah, whatever. The item has reached its maximum enhancement level and transformed into Mithril Blade Iris. And my shop reached level 14. I think 15 is the max level, but I could be wrong. Mithril Blade Iris, the most powerful version of this weapon. I love... Again, this is why I really just wish it wasn't, like... It's definitely meant for NG+, because I also know when you NG+, because I had to do it for the Platinum, or I didn't have to, but it's the way I did it for the Platinum. When you NG+, you can, spin the grade that you've accumulated to get bonuses into your NG+, and one of the bonuses, I think, is, like, get double as much gold as you normally would, stuff like that, so definitely meant for something like that, which is unfortunate, but that's the way the devs decided to do it. Anyways, all we need to do in this final video is do the final cameo battle, and I know how to do it. We have to go talk to someone in Renede. I made sure to look it up and figure out exactly how to get it to spawn. And on top of that, I also want to do all of the cooking skits because I got everyone to cooking level 20. Let me tell you, it took a really long time. I accidentally almost got Eleanor to level 21, but it took a very long time. Not a long time, just a really boring time of infinitely buying the ingredients you can get at the shop for prickle boar sausage. I still have 53 left over, buying 99 of it, and then just spamming the X button nonstop until I got to level 20. They would usually get, each character would get, I want to say, like, maybe 3 to 4 levels with every 99 dishes made. So it took a long time, but I got it done. I also made sure that I had the ingredients for these 5 dishes, because I think these are the dishes you need to unlock the skit for the other characters. So we're going to do them one by one. You have to have them cook the specific dish, which we're going to have Magilu go first because she is the dwarven one, I remember. Because I had these all in my head. I'm like, all right, dwarf is Magilu. 3 meat is Laphicet. Rapig is Aizen. Albatross is Rokuro, and Lizard Tail Steak is Eleanor. And I want to end on Eleanor because I want her food bonus for the boss fight because it's focus up 15%, I think, which will be useful. So let's have these skits, and then let's go do the cameo battle and in this playthrough finally put Tales of Berseria Redux in the books.
Bon appetit!
Bon appetit indeed. Master Chef Magilu.
I finally finished my culinary masterpiece! Eat your hearts out!
Wow! I can tell you put a lot of care into this, Magilu.
Yeah, it's really refined. There's a lot of subtlety to it. Color me surprised. I figured the only thing you'd be good at concocting was poison.
You know what they say. Jack of one trade, master of many. Once you're a witch of my caliber, cooking comes naturally.
Are there really that many similarities between cooking and witchcraft?
Oh, so very many. For instance, the first steps in preparing a broth are the same as for brewing cursing concoctions.
Wow! I had no idea.
Cursing concoctions?
And the way you prepare the ingredients for a love potion can be readily applied to how you make simmered dishes.
Really?
Love potions?
Think of the similarities like this. In both witchcraft and cooking, you have to think about who's going to consume your creations. It's very important.
I think I understand what you mean. It's the way you put feeling into it.
No, don't listen to her! From now on, you can't eat anything Magilu cooks for you until you had someone else test it first.
What? Why? What do you mean, test it?
Just make Bienfu eat some and see how he reacts.
That's a good idea. Let's go with that.
What?
Poor Laphicet, surrounded by women who wouldn't know a joke if it hit them upside the head. The trick to being a good cook is having a playful side.
Bien! I think the trick to being a good cook is watching Food Wars. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. 3 meat ragu sauce should be Laphicet, if I remember right.
I'm all finished.
He's all finished. Master Chef Laphicet, let's get it.
So, how does it taste? I hope it's good.
It's a nice, consistent flavor. You've come a long way, Laphicet.
Whew, that's a relief. Thanks.
Everything from the prep work to the measurements follows the recipe to perfection. It's very you. I bet you'd be great at making pastries.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to make some.
So long as you're all right with some simple things, I'd be happy to teach you.
That would be great. I also want to try making my own ingredients from scratch.
You don't have to go that far. You can just buy them from shops.
Yeah, but still.
Oh boy, I know how this story goes. First, it starts simple enough. You want to mix up something like curry powder. Then you'll be kneading noodles, growing sourdough starters, churning butter, and before you know it, you'll wind up fermenting miso and distilling spirits. Then comes the next phase. You'll grow your own rice and beans and raise your own animals. It's a road I've been down myself.
You have?
Yeah, out on this remote island. I even built a private salt pond where I can cultivate natural salt just the way I like it.
That's amazing!
So how far does this path lead?
It only ends when you've decided you've had enough. I won't lie to you, Laphicet. It's a hard road. But if you're really serious, I'll teach you the ropes.
I'm super serious. Please, teach me everything.
If that's what you want to do, I say go for it. Eating is a vital part of life. Might as well enjoy your food on as many levels as you can.
I love Aizen, dude. Oh, I love Aizen. He's so good. Speaking of Aizen, let's see his then. By the way, in case you forgot, because who knows how many videos ago it was, but the reason we're only doing 5 and not Velvet's is because we already did Velvet's because hers had a side quest attached to it that I did earlier in the playthrough, which is why we just have the other 5 to go.
All right, I'm done cooking. Dig in.
Aizen, I gotta say, your food tastes quite rich.
But not in a bad way. It's rich, but it's not overpowering.
Yeah, it's a very grown-up flavor. I could get attached to this.
Of course. I used a lot of my special ingredients.
Special ingredients?
That sounds oddly suspicious.
Normally, a master would never reveal his secrets. But I'll make an exception this one time. One of my secret ingredients is pirate mushrooms. Using them, you can make an excellent broth with a full-bodied flavor prized by the most discerning chefs.
That sounds kind of like bandit mushrooms, which can kill you in a single bite.
Indeed. Pirate mushrooms are quite rare and very difficult to differentiate from bandit mushrooms.
I also use a little something called the Reaper Pufferfish.
Isn't that fish so deadly poisonous that its juices could single-handedly put down an entire herd of elephants?
No more than a handful of chefs could prepare them in a way that would actually be edible.
Yeah, but the flavor is sublime. It'll make you think you've died and gone to heaven.
You don't mean that literally, right?
You prepared the fish yourself, yes? Just so we're clear?
Of course I did. I'm in charge of my own knife. I take full responsibility from scratch to finish. That's just my way.
I think I'm starting to feel a little dizzy.
Me too. Reaper cooking is no joke. It's to be respected and feared.
I'm in charge of my own knife. That's actually hilarious. Oh, man. I'm glad I decided to do these at the very end of the playthrough. Rokuro, you're up, buddy.
That's what I call
Make us some albatross.
The Rangetsu style applies equally well to the kitchen. Look at how perfectly chopped everything is.
Yeah, and it's got a nice clean taste too, but with literally everything chopped to super tiny pieces, it all just ends up one texture.
That's not true. Look at how I do vegetables. For stir-fry, I cut them super tiny, but for juices, I go extra super tiny.
Wait, you chop things into juice?
When you make sashimi, you slice the fish so thin it's nearly transparent. The pieces fall apart when I try to pick them up.
That's not even the best part. I can turn a fish into sashimi so quickly its bones keep on swimming away.
I think the fish might be a bit too fresh in that case.
And your angel hair pasta is thinner than actual hair. There's no possible way to cook it al dente. Don't cut your dough so thinly. Thicker pasta gives it soul and makes it hearty.
Sorry, but that's just how I do it. Any other way and it wouldn't be Rangetsu cooking.
Why do I even bother? It's like trying to reason with a brick wall.
Well, cutting takoyaki into slices is a bit much.
You might have me there. Okay, I'm sorry. I got carried away and wasn't thinking. Takoyaki has to be ball-shaped or it's not any good.
Exactly!
See? We can get him to agree on some things.
You say that like it's a good thing.
I make them super tiny or super extra tiny. That's not what I meant to click on. Cooking. Cook and eat. Lizard tail steak. The last one. Here we go, Eleanor. Give me a good one. Give me that focus plus 15%.
It's done. Time to eat, everyone. How does it taste?
Oh, it's great.
You say that about everything you eat.
That's not true. I have a very refined palate. Eleanor's cooking is, you know, how do I put it? Her dishes have gotten more flexible.
Come again?
It's commanding, but not so rigid, and yet still representative of who she is.
I'm still not sure I follow.
I used to cook by following every recipe as precisely as possible, but I've learned to feel out the dishes a bit more. I decide how much seasoning to use, and I make adjustments to taste. Sometimes what I make doesn't turn out right, but it's more fun this way.
Wow, you really have changed, Eleanor.
That's what I meant when I said her dishes were flexible. I was right.
Rokuro, don't talk with your mouth full. You're getting food everywhere.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself.
You did it again! Look, it's all over your face. Act your age, Rokuro.
Sorry again.
There's something else I've been meaning to mention. Do you realize you hold your chopsticks incorrectly?
Oh, you noticed. It's an original way I came up with myself, because I didn't want to imitate Shigure growing up. Pretty nifty, ain't it?
No, it's not. It's horrible manners. Corrupted manners at the table leads to a corrupted soul. Hold your chopsticks properly.
I'm a demon, so I think that ship has already sailed.
Properly!
All right. Fine. I don't think my Rangetsu's sword training was ever this strict.
Maybe Eleanor hasn't changed all that much.
Dude, I love Eleanor and Rokuro. I love this cast. I'm gonna miss playing Berseria. Going straight into Tales of Arise after I finished Berseria kind of helped with, like, you know, not feeling like, oh man, I was having so much fun. Not that I'm playing other games I don't like. Yeah, I've been playing Fire Emblem Three Hopes, having a great time with it and all, but Berseria, like, I mean, Tales of is my favorite game franchise. Berseria was so much fun to play again. Arise is a blast to play again right now. I just recently, at the time of recording this, got past Volron's fight and all that. Just great stuff. Let's talk to this guy.
Oh, woe and misfortune, meow. The harbinger of the end has come to Norman Island, meow.
The Harbinger of the End?
What are you talking about?
The harbinger of the end is said to deliver judgment upon the world, meow. If he judges us bad, he will destroy us all. If he judges us good, he'll grant a single wish, meow.
That's rather binary.
Sounds like a man of extremes.
Not just extreme, but all-powerful, meow. Whatever you do, you'd better stay away from Norman Island.
Okay, just stop. Stop telling us not to do things.
I think we're going to Norman Island. I also think there's one other, whatchamacallit, conversation to have here. I actually don't know what it is, but I remember, yeah, there's an exclamation mark here. So we're going to talk to whatever that is, and whatever it is what it is. But after that, we're just going to go fight. Oh, wait, I went past it. My bad. We're just going to go fight the final cameo fight, and playthrough is going to be over. Hello there.
Wow! I ain't seen people in forever! Not since Artorias and his bunch. You've met Artorias before? Met him? Boy, I tell you what, I've done way more than that. Once, we all went adventuring with Artorias and the king himself. If you can believe it, we traveled the world, purifying malevolence and spreading the blessings of Malakim.
Wait, the king?
Yes, ma'am. The one and only King Claudin, who ended the era of darkness.
The Hero King? How could someone from the distant past be traveling with Artorias?
Between you and me, little lady, he used an oath to live about another 300 years. Heck, he was even the former head of the Exorcists.
King Claudin was the head of the Exorcists?
He held that post for a real long time, but then he met Artorias, who was an orphan. The king couldn't have been happier. He found an earnest pupil, a perfect candidate for his successor. But then, things took a mighty sad turn for the worse.
What happened?
All the other Norman who traveled with us are on their way to the place where Claudin died. The place known as Loringen. If you want to know more, you ought to ask them.
It's hard to believe that King Claudin, the former head of the Exorcists, and Artorias' teacher were all the same person.
It's not so unbelievable. Melchior was using the same oath. I'd even go a step further and say that Melchior was imitating Claudin to get in his inner circle.
Hold on. You didn't happen to know Claudin, did you?
Afraid not. I never met the man in person. But I knew he had enough quirks to really get the old geezer's goat sometimes. I mean, he gave up wealth and power to protect the world as an exorcist. The man lived for his work in the same way that a fish lives to swim in the sea.
And Artorias is the one who took his place.
For now, let's just focus on getting to Loringen. Listen, Velvet. If nothing else, I think you should find the truth for your own sake.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Aw, dang it, I didn't know there was another thing to do. It's the last video. We gotta go knock it out. This is like the only other thing in the game we haven't done, apparently. I didn't realize there was like a cutscene I had been missing or whatever about Claudin or whatnot. So let's do this real quick and then final cameo battle. This is gonna end up being like an hour-long part, and this is like part 204, so part 200 was an hour-long part like just before it. Oh well, it'd be that way sometimes.
Hey, I've got a question. Were you one of the Norman who traveled with Artorias?
Why, sure! Are you a relative of his or something?
Tell me, what happened here?
No can do! That ain't something I can just go blabbing about!
I'm a follower of Melchior's, who in turn stood behind Claudin. Please, we'd like to know.
Well then, this place is where Claudin died. It all happened more than 10 years ago. Claudin had taken an oath never to kill, but he broke it to save the life of Artorias, his most beloved disciple.
Another death on his hands.
Nah, Artorias didn't do nothing wrong. There was no other way Claudin could have saved the boy. Besides, Claudin had nearly stretched that oath to its limits. Claudin believed in the purity of Artorias' spirit. He entrusted his hopes and the very future of the world to his disciple. Sad thing is, Artorias just kept blaming himself for the death of his master.
That sounds like him.
So he tried to do everything he could to live up to Claudin's ideals, with no one else to help. He traveled the world teaching folks about Malachine and them dreadful demons, and how important it is to have a pure heart. But people had lived in peace so long, they didn't care for his stories. And in the end, the four Empyreans drifted into slumber. Once again, Artorias felt he had nobody to blame but himself. So what did he do? He started talking about how if we stuck with him, he'd turn us into demons. So he journeyed to the east, all by his lonesome.
He went east.
Say, how is Artorias doing these days? What's he been up to?
Thanks for sharing your story. I know it must not be the easiest thing to talk about.
Midgand has become a dangerous place. You should go back to Norman Island before you turn into a demon.
So, our young head exorcist, racked with despair and helplessness, gave everything up and headed to the east! So then, to Eastgand, I guess?
Maybe to a ball?
Velvet, why don't we stop in a ball? I feel like we're being called there.
Yeah, I feel it too.
There's still more? Why are you like this game? I just wanted to do my cameo fight. Dude, Berseria has so many little cutscenes and stuff like this that come up in the post-game. Okay, down there at the gravesite. Hopefully it's just a fairly quick cutscene, then we go do the cameo battle and wrap up. This video is gonna be as long as this video has to be. Gotta do what we gotta do.
Once I saw this place, it all started to make sense. Artorias must have lived a happy and peaceful life here.
Who are you?
Who, me? I'm a Norman who traveled the continent with Artorias years ago. He's been on my mind quite a lot lately. So I followed a rumor that led me here.
That Princessia. Were you the one who put it out?
Nope, wasn't me. It was already here when I arrived. Do you know the deeper symbolic meaning behind the Princessia flower?
It can mean an irreplaceable treasure, or that you wish them well for years to come.
Then the one who planted it was...
Yep, that's right. The person lying in this grave saved the life of a certain someone who had been worn down and broken by his mission. Thank you. The poor fellow. He was always so serious. So deadly, deadly serious. And he was practically always being strangled by his own conscience. So much so that he deluded himself into believing he needed to erase the emotions of the human race he so dearly loved. Please, if I may, somehow, some way, set the poor guy free.
Oh, I intend to. But my version of setting him free might be a bit different from yours.
Well, I'm still counting on you, Lord of Calamity.
I think I understand Artorias' past now.
Yeah. No matter who you are or how far up the chain you climb, life never entirely goes your way.
You said it. As much as he claims to be a man of reason, he still managed to give in to sentiment enough to plant flowers here.
Not only can he not protect the ones he loves, he can't even permit himself to be free.
Indeed. But I think that's human nature, too.
I suppose. But I'd also say he has an inner strength like no one else. He lost his master and his wife, and yet he overcame those failures to rise again as the shepherd.
I get that. But it doesn't absolve his crimes. I have to settle the score with him.
Yeah. I'll be with you until the very end, Velvet.
Are you sure that's really something you want to say in front of your sister's gravesite?
All the more reason. She should hear this.
I'm glad we got those little scenes there at the last second. Take me back to Norman Island to do the cameo fight. Here we go, lads. Here we go. Yeah, we saw the end of the game. Sets Artorias free in one fashion, to be sure. I really hope I'm able to win this boss fight, by the way. If I'm not, we might just turn it down to moderate. I've got so many all divides and elixirs and stuff, and I did a little test to make sure I was able to fight, and I got, I was doing okay with it. I think we'll be fine. What the heck? There's another thing? It never ends, dude. How do I get to wherever that is?